There are three types of power in the world. There's hard power, which is military. There's economic power, which is coercive effects of economic policies. And then there's soft power, which is using various different techniques to persuade people to do things rather than to force them to do things. And there are many different aspects of soft power, but they all relate to getting on with people and persuading them to do what you want rather than forcing them. As a country, we need soft power because, for example, in the UK, we have a very small army. We're not necessarily strong economically, but we punch miles above our weight where it comes to persuading people to do things in the world, important things globally about health, education, finance. And the reason we do that is because Britain has very strong, long-standing soft power, and people trust us, like us, and will go along with what we say. The drop of the UK from second to third, in some respects, is not surprising. Britain is not really one of the biggest powers in the world anymore, although we'd like to think we are. So it's inevitable that we should be dropping. In fact, it's quite surprising. We were second and we're now third, and you might expect us to be much lower. The reason that we've been overtaken specifically this year is that China has identified that soft power is an extremely important part of its foreign policy and also of its industrial policy to take its exports abroad and to increase its economic activity abroad. So they are consciously investing a huge amount of money in soft power, while Britain is just recovering from quite a divisive election. The new government is getting established. We're short of money. There are various reasons and various aspects of our soft power. The budgets are being reduced, not increased. So it's not really surprising that we've dropped from second to third. Well, as I said in my presentation to the Soft Power Summit, America effectively invented soft power and global multilateral organizations and has been developing them for almost a century. The League of Nations, the UN, and many other organizations are American initiatives. So it is really quite surprising that Donald Trump seems to want to abandon it all and let it go away. I suspect he will live to regret the actions he's taking, because American soft power has been very helpful for them to achieve diplomatic things that they want done, and also for American business and American culture to go around the world. They will live to regret it if they undermine the system, which they currently seem to be doing. As America declines, various places around the world are increasing. The places that are increasing most are those that see it as useful to their foreign policy objectives and their business objectives. So China is one, and the UAE is another. The UAE probably saw well before anyone else in the region that having great soft power would be extremely helpful. So they are ahead of other countries like Saudi Arabia, but all of the rich, powerful countries in the Middle East are trying to develop their soft power because they also see the benefit of doing it. But the UAE has been investing for 10, 15, 20 years in many things, like the Expo, like COP28, like the mission to Mars, like many things. They have been investing very heavily to develop the UAE to increase its influence. It's extremely important to measure a nation brand because, well, at a very high level, you want to know, are people aware of you? Do they think you've got a good reputation? Do they believe that you have an influence over what they are doing? And you don't just need to know that at a global level. You need to know it at a regional and an individual country level, because every major country wants to influence activities at a country level. This is why they have embassies. And it's quite interesting that embassies are moving away from their traditional role to a much more comprehensive role to promote individual countries. So in order to do that, they really need to understand what people think about their country at the high level. And then they also need to understand at a much more detailed, granular level. And our research, with 55 different attributes, gives them huge richness of data to understand. For example, how does people think about our country in Turkey, New Zealand, Australia, America, and then take appropriate actions. Usually there is a clear link between perceptions and performance. Perceptions may be ahead of performance or behind it. It's always a bit dangerous where perceptions are far adrift from the reality. So, as with corporate brands, you need to be monitoring to see how good you really are or how bad you really are and what people think about you, and taking appropriate action. If your performance is way below what people's perceptions is, that's dangerous, because when they find out, they might punish you. And if your performance is way ahead, you are losing out by not telling people. So there's a very important thing for planning communications and for the way you pursue your soft power policies. Brand Finance originally launched the Global Soft Power Summit purely as a vehicle for promoting the extensive research that we do to get people who might be interested to come along and listen and talk about some of the issues in there. But what we've found is it's becoming an extremely important governmental conference, actually. A lot of ambassadors, ex-ministers, politicians, corporations are now coming to this thing, and we're breaking off into workshops and having discussions. So it's become a very rich opportunity to talk about these issues face to face.